Gold Cup Day, Thursday. Every day at Ascot is a little bit special, but this day, Ladies' Day, well, it's especially special.
Wathnan's peacock blue and old gold sleeves were the colours of the day here last year. Can they possibly repeat the trick? Well, Wathnan is represented right across the card. The first is the Norfolk Stakes, established 181 years ago, and a byword for 2-year-olds who flash the fastest flare of brightest speed. Look out for an array of different coloured caps on the Wathnan colts. Aesterius from Archie Watson's stable is a likely type.
He's a big, strong, he's a proper, good-sized horse for a sprinter. He's got plenty of scope for next year. He's got loads of speed, and he's a very strong sprinting type. Yeah, he won very nicely at Bath on his first start for us. He did everything the right way, quickened up really nicely, and I know James was very happy with him, and it was a fantastic start.
Aesterius has mastered red-orange and has got a 2-length lead here, and the expensive breeze-up purchase will make a winning debut. Aesterius.
He's been all good since. His work has always been to a high standard. He obviously did a very good breeze and came with a high reputation, and we've seen that here. This is just a routine daily canter. It's 4 furlongs up quite a stiff hill. Just allows them to just get in a nice rhythm. He'll go to one of the 5 furlong races at Ascot, and I couldn't be happier with his prep. Fingers crossed he's in a good place, and we'll get him there in good shape.
Shareholder comes from Karl Burke's yard in Wensleydale.
Shareholder will go for the Norfolk on Thursday. He's a high-class colt and deserves to go for that Group 2.
And they're off, and Shareholder broke very slowly.
Shareholder ran very green at Beverley despite being a breeze-up horse. A little bit slow out of the stalls. Again, we haven't had him very long, so I hadn't had to be able to do a lot of stalls work with him. But he's a horse that possesses a lot of speed. He was very quick into his stride after being slow away, and travelled very strongly, albeit it was a little bit green in behind horses. He'll have learnt an awful lot from that.
As they hit the line, Shareholder on the near side.
Shareholder is a very strong colt, very much looks a sprinter, but again I do think he'll stretch out and get at least 6 furlongs later on in his career.
Over to Newmarket next, to Roger Varian's stable. French Duke. This aristocratic-looking fellow runs in one of the big 3-year-old handicaps, the King George V Stakes.
Here we have French Duke. French Duke is a 3-year-old colt by Seaver Stars. He's a really beautiful horse. He's an old-fashioned type of thoroughbred. He's a very handsome horse. He's got loads of scope. What I mean by that is he's got a lot of size, a lot of presence. He's a horse for here and now, but he's a horse for the future as well. We have to look at his last race as his best piece of form. He was just a close head second at Newbury over 10 furlongs. That was in a very strong novice race.
French Duke in second place, gains people place. He's running on gamely in 3rd position.
He's only raced 3 times in his life so far, so he's very unexposed. You could say he lacks a little bit of experience. We think he'd be very well suited to the King George V handicap. He's got a lovely profile for this race. He hasn't yet raced a 1.5 miles. He's been showing his form at a 1.25 miles. We think he'll improve for going an extra 2 furlongs. We think he'll improve for the 1.5 miles, and I see him very much as a progressive horse. He's achieved already a nice level of form, but no doubt his best days are ahead of him. Physically, he's just starting to furnish. He's just starting to sort of grow into himself. He's going to improve as he gets older. He's going to improve as the year goes on, and I think he'll be a horse for next year as well. I think if you came and saw him for the first time, you could only be pleased with him. He's a beautiful horse.
So in the Gold Cup, Gregory bids to emulate last year's winner in those Wathnan colours, Courage Mon Ami, and we've made a separate film about him because this is such a very special race. So we'll press on now to the Britannia handicap. Up the straight mile for 3-year-olds, and here is where the Wathnan runner Native Warrior, trained by Karl Burke, is hoping to shine.
Native Warrior, it's always been the plan to go for the Britannia, the 3-year-old only handicap over a mile. he's got a nice handicap mark of 90 to go into that, so I'm very excited and looking forward to seeing him run.
And there are.
The idea with Native Warrior was always to try and protect that mark of 90, so it made sense not to run him in a handicap, made sense to go for a maiden and try not to win by too far, which he did, although he's quite a lazy horse, and James Doyle, when he eased him up, he went down the gears very quickly and only won by a neck in the end, but he was good for a good bit deal more than that. So very happy with that run, and he's come out of it in great shape.
But Native Warrior is just toying with Faker now, has got a length and a half to 2 clear. Native Warrior.
Native Warrior came out of the race at Nottingham really well, and he's quite an idle horse at home, so we've had to give him plenty of work leading into Ascot, but he's taken it all very well and he's been working very nicely.
Crack French doyen André Fabre is bringing his Prix du Jockey Club runner-up first look for the Hampton Court Stakes over 1 mile and 2.
I was a bit worried because the race at Ascot was a bit close, but he took his race in Chantilly very well. He's a strong horse and didn't have a that hard a race in the Jockey Club. So I'm happy with his condition and he ought to take his chance. Those Lope de Vegas, sometimes they seem to be a bit highly strung, which was his case before, but now he settles well. He's keen, easy to train, always forward, always in good health, in good shape, and easy horse to train. One of my hopes for the season was a beautiful 2-year-old, and he's trained on well. He's a very promising horse because he's still immature.
Then in the last, the 7-furlong Buckingham Palace Stakes, Hamad Al-Jehani fields the dappled grey Make Me King.
He's doing very well. He starts 1 here in Newmarket to keep him more fit. Hopefully in Royal Ascot he will have a good chance with the other horses there. Yes, they are, to be honest, they are ready for us. We just need to keep them fit till they arrive to Royal Ascot Day.
Also in the Buckingham Palace, English Oak from Ed Walker's Lambourne base.
English Oak, he's an extremely good-looking horse, and he always has been, hence he was an expensive yearling from a very good family of Carl Colstons. He's not done a lot wrong. He's lightly raced. He's a big horse. Took plenty of time to come to hand. And then this year, he's been ridden predominantly by Matty Hicks, who's one of our assistants, and Matty's gone on extremely well with him.
We've worked hard at home, changed a few things with his routine, the tack he wears. So it's kind of had to wait to see him run to really know whether he's been doing the right things. And luckily, Newmarket was all about getting him to do things the right way. And then obviously at Haydock, it couldn't have gone much better.
Here comes English Oak in the light blue.
He's just extremely professional. He relaxed beautifully for Oisin, and the result, was a pretty devastating performance.
English Oak, though, is beginning to extend clear with 100 yards to go. English Oak and Oisin Murphy in tidy fashion win.
His next step will be Royal Ascot and the Buckingham Palace, and a £10 hike. If he gets beaten in the nose, we can give Mr. Murphy a bit of a ticking off for winning too far at Haydock. But I think he can overcome the £10 hike in the handicap.
Wishing you a glorious afternoon sport.